Hello. Thank you for your patience. Claudio is running a teeny bit late, so we are going to get started without her, but we probably won't even start reading. I'm just going to hang out and pour some wine and say hi. How are things? How's everyone doing? I'm seeing we got some water bottles. That seems bad. Is this a riot already? That frightens me. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm also seeing, and this is very exciting, that we have more dislikes than likes for this video, which means that we have friends. I hope that you will continue to stick around, dislike people, and please be active in the chat so that I can roast you, because that's my favorite. Oh dear, not on purpose, not an on purpose Rittenhouse joke. Existing in inconvenient location. Yes. A terrible thing to do. Oh, all right. We are joined by the one and only Claudio, who is here. How are you doing?
Possibly excellent. I am
excellent.
Hydrated.
Awesome. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, nothing alcoholic. I figured that would take me away from the purpose. It would make it worse.
That's fair. Well, God bless you. You're very brave. I'm going to be drinking some more 19 Crimes tonight, which is far fewer crimes than I think Andy Ngo has committed in this book. Yeah. I don't know if the haters stuck around to see it. And we've got more dislikes than likes on this video, Claudio. So it could be a fun chat. We haven't even started yet, so maybe people just know something that we don't. I don't know.
Because I'm sorry.
It's what it is. Everyone loves me so much, but you, for some reason, just I don't know. It's hard. So we have, before we start, a Patreon question. People who are my patrons can ask questions, and then we talk about them at the beginning of the stream, which is why you should give me money for no reason, or don't. It's fine. We're gonna talk about it though. The question is from Shaved Ice, whomst has asked. Sorry, my computer's very slow. I do have one question that you could address on air if you wanted to, and forgive me if you already covered it and I missed it. I'm interested in how you and Claudio and Alyssa Azar and all the others deal professionally or legally or whatever with Ngo's nonstop plagiarism and non-attribution of your work. My wife was a journalist for a long time, and even the word plagiarism makes her grow devil horns in a second tongue. Or as I like to put it, plagiarism leads to ragerism. Very here for this.
I mean, for such a long time, there just wasn't anything to be done. There was a day that Twitter was just like, oh, okay. And they started doing something about it. But for a long time, you just kind of accepted that particular Andy Ngo account, you couldn't touch it. Did you feel differently?
I mean, yeah, basically it was something where it made me real mad, and then it was just, you just kind of had, I went through the stages of grief and I got to acceptance, basically. It's upsetting. Yeah. I did eventually realize that by posting about the fact that Andy Ngo had stolen my videos, I could at least, that felt good because at least that made people look at the videos more. So it was like he was giving me some kind of publicity, and I could talk about it. So, there was that, I guess, but.
Yeah, it just, the first time it happened to me, people were like, oh man, something bad might happen to you. And that's going to be so much worse than the plagiarism aspect.
Yeah.
That's
legit.
That often took precedent over feelings of oh, my work has been taken from me. It was like, oh man, something bad that could be a lot worse.
Yeah. No, that sounds correct. Yeah. You've had to deal with so many death threats that, plagiarism is kind of the least of your concerns. I am getting worried. Go ahead.
You ended up on the list too.
I did, but you've had it worse than me. We both know that. I mean, I don't know. My haters are kind of incompetent, which is nice. You, on the other hand, have attracted the attention of some slightly less, Yeah, less hilarious people. So real quick though, I'm getting word that you are slightly quieter than me. I've turned up Claudio's mic setting. Does that sound good for everybody?
Can you hear me now?
Let's see what we got. All right, if I don't hear differently, I'll assume it's correct. It's better if it isn't. Somebody let me know in the chat and we'll adjust it again. Oh, good. Okay, we have word that it's much better now. So this is excellent news.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no, it's true. It's like plagiarism is the least of it. It sucks, but worse things have happened. So
Exactly. So more my reaction every time I had a video Andy Ngo was just like, oh shit, I have to like take care of myself instead of I have to get my property back. But
yeah,
all of a sudden there was one day that it was just like Twitter started allowing MCDAs to work.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah,
just like that. Don't know what.
Yeah, suddenly Twitter cared. Although that was interesting because I had rookie mistake. In order to file a DMCA complaint on YouTube or Twitter, you have to put in your address. And so I did that. I thought maybe I should put in a fake address. And then I was like, what's the worst that could happen? So I put in my real one. And then when Kitty's List, one of Andy Ngo's friends who likes to steal videos outright, and then Andy Ngo just takes it from Kitty's List and credits them, when they got taken off of Twitter for too many DMCA complaints, they passed it on to a gentleman whom I shall not name because he likes attention. But I then got a call from this guy pretending to be a lawyer and telling me he was going to serve me papers, which is not how that works. If anyone's been served papers before, that's not how this goes at all.
I am lawman.
Yes,
I tell you.
Be very afraid of me, for I am the law.
Here's what
Monroe Co just asked who Farley is. Nobody really knows Monroe Co. No one really knows. He's not really anyone that anyone's really ever heard of. And I think it would be best if everyone in this chat and on this video continues with that line, as long as he has decided to grace us with his presence, because I don't know who he is and no one knows. No one really knows who Farley is. Yeah. All right. Well, are you ready to learn about the Black Lives Matter uprisings of this summer as through the lens of Anderford Nope? Gonna be great. So content warning, this is horrible. The first part of chapter 1 was just a lot of like really vile misrepresentations of Black people who were shot and killed. This will probably be the same. And just as soon as Claudio gets back, we're going to start doing it. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be terrible. We're going to do our best to laugh at it because that's the only way we can get through. So, all right.
You brought me for the easy part.
Yeah. It's the correct reaction. All right. Uprisings. While many recoiled at the shocking scenes of violence in Minnesota, a segment of the American population expressed open support for the riots. The Minnesota Freedom Fund, MFF, a far-left organization, raked in over $35 million in donations, which the MFF, the Minnesota Freedom Fund, is it's a bail fund for people who have been arrested, and then they pay the bail, which is far left, as I'm sure you know. The definition of communism. Huh? Yeah. Basically, when Stalin took over Russia, the first thing he did was set up a bail fund, as we all know, because he really hated prisons. And they did this with the help of celebrities like Drake, Chrissy Teigen, and Steve Carell. The MFF later admitted to only spending $200,000 on bail bonds, and there's a citation here. I looked it up. It is an article that talks about how this very small organization was inundated with donations, and it had some trouble because they never had that many donations before. So this is actually a story of success, not failure. Pretty sure.
Hey girl, you got page number for me?
Oh, yep. It is page number 25 on my very legal copy. It says uprisings on the top. We're going to break while while you get there. Thank you, Mary Ann. I am stoked about my eye makeup. Let's see here what we got. Just going to read your beautiful chats. I've got a request from Wed Teeler, definitely not Ted Wheeler, to warn about any descriptions of violence against property. Wed, thank you for joining us. We're thrilled that you're here, and we will, of course, caution you if any windows are in danger at this time.
You said 121?
No, just 21.
Oh,
wait,
okay.
Right, that's actually 25 on mine. 25, it says uprisings at the top. It's halfway through chapter 1, basically.
Oh, okay.
Maxie, there are garrison stands everywhere. Everywhere that anyone goes, garrison stands are there. That's just true.
There we are. All righty.
Excellent.
All
right.
Already something about YLF.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he loves them so much. I mean, he can't resist them. I
love them so much, but like,
yeah, who doesn't love the YLF? In July, I believe, on one of the press chats I was in, temporarily changed its name to the YLF Simp Chat. This was not a mainstream press thing. I should be very clear. And it was a joke, and it was for 2 days. So everyone take that out of context and talk about how all the press is in league with the YLF. That is what you need to do. Just go ahead and clip that little bit right there, and put it in the clip and put it on YouTube. Yeah. All right. So
isn't it weird to not put it on Parler anymore? Don't you miss them a little?
Yeah, it's RIP. I remember when we had Parler. Now we just don't. It's just a wasteland, just tumbleweeds.
Now old activists will say things like, "I was here when Parler existed."
That'll be the flex in a year. Oh my God, you're not even wrong. I remember. All right. Antifa groups across the United States expressed support for the Minnesota riots. So just to review, by the way, he's just gone from saying that a lot of the American population expressed support, and I was going to pivot specifically to Antifa being the ones that made this popular. Even though he literally just said the other thing. So solidarity for NYC, from NYC to all the real folks in Minneapolis tonight, tweeted New York City Antifa on May 27th, 2020, with a citation, just so you know that tweet's real. Antifa 7 Hills, an Antifa group based in Richmond, Virginia, tweeted out donation links for protesters at riots in Minneapolis. The Portland chapter of the Youth Liberation Front, a new Antifa group. Y'all are fucking interlocutors. Watch it, you whippersnappers. You don't belong here. Tweeted, from Portland to Minneapolis for youth liberation, we will see you on the streets. Their tweets, Claudio, brace yourselves, included emojis of a black flag and a fire.
No!
No!
You knew what they were going to do.
Just absolutely inciting violence. Something that only the YLF would ever do with emojis, and not Donald Trump for 6 months over Twitter.
No. And fires are not symbols that are used across revolution.
No, fire has only ever been used to burn buildings. Trigger warning for Wed Teeler for burning buildings. That's what fire means. That's all it's ever been used for. Cool. Seeing the resounding success of the riots in Minnesota, and given the support from media elites. So wait, is it the people or Antifa or media elites that are at fault here?
Both. It's always both.
It's always, you're right. It's everyone. Everyone but Andy Ngo has done this to us. Yeah. These and other Antifa groups across the United States began to organize their own solidarity riots. On May 28th, 2020, the Colorado Springs Anti-Fascists tweeted an announcement that it was organizing 3 days of solidarity actions at the state capitol. You don't have an excuse not to go. If you're watching the riot porn, you owe Minneapolis radicals a favor by standing in solidarity with them. #ACAB, they tweeted. Weirdly, he doesn't explain what that means. I would have expected him to, but he didn't.
Yeah, he kind of missed an opportunity there.
Yeah, he could have really like emphasized that like Antifa hates cops and thinks they're all bastards, which no notes. But yeah.
Yeah, this came out a couple of days after the riot at the Capitol, though, right?
Yes, it
So,
did. It did. Yeah, it has
so
been.
he didn't have the chance to edit out like a bunch of things that could have.
Can you just imagine the publishers at Andy the night after January 6th going, oh no, oh, we're going to look like such assholes?
Well, the editor at Hachette that represents Andy Ngo got fired.
Dead.
That was
R.I.P.
him and kind of like their far right section. They were kind of like, yeah, we're not gonna move forward with this sector at this time.
I forget who tweeted it, but I retweeted something about like, newsflash, Hachette's has found morals as soon as it was no longer lucrative for them to have none. I think that's about right.
Yeah.
It just, now, yeah.
There are a lot of things in here that it's just like, oh man, I know you didn't plan on releasing this before a coup, but now that you did, it sounds real bad.
Not great. Yeah, no, it changes everything. And it's just a delight. It's a beauty and a joy forever because it's just everything about it is just like this like amber encapsulation of Andy not seeing what's coming. And I love it.
Exactly.
Somebody asked, by the way, if there was a citation for that tweet. And I am pleased to tell you there was not. There's no citation for that tweet. So now you know. We got the YLF coming back at us. Antifa in Portland plastered posters across the city announcing an I Can't Breathe protest for May 29th. Also in solidarity with Minneapolis, the YLF promoted the event on Twitter, a social media website that is relatively new that some of the kids are using, and picked up additional steam with promotion on an Antifa blog named It's Going Down. Solidarity sounds benign, but it is a far-left dog whistle for repeating the same direct action, in this case, violence. Who told them about dog whistles? Who did this?
Okay, is the word dog... Maybe I need to look up the word dog whistle, because I really thought that it could only be used for, like, very serious things. And that usually they were covering up things like overt racism or like for the Holocaust. Like,
I'm pretty sure.
Very serious. Like, it couldn't just be like, we're talking about this, but it's actually something else. Am I wrong?
No. I mean, yes, like he's using it incorrectly. He's just hurt someone, Space Jesus told him about the dog whistles, and now he's just going to use it like a toddler who's found a new word but doesn't really know what it means, just screaming fuck all the time. It's like it's inappropriate.
Wow.
Dog
whistle.
Yeah, dog whistling direct action, in this case violence. So way to go, Portland, for a dog whistling going to protests. It's very problematic. You're all canceled.
It's funny too, because if Portland does anything wrong, it's that we say it's direct action when it's not.
Yeah, we're not subtle out here in PDX. We're like, wear block, be water, no streamers, direct action, come out. Like,
and we say that and do that, and we still don't do anything.
Also, there's that. Yes, it's like this is a speech. Cool. Okay. All right. I'm going down to speeches. Yeah. All right. So now that we've had that horrifying dog whistle instance, the choice to call the violence in Minneapolis riot porn also provides a window into the Antifa worldview, a phrase that only Antifa has ever used. That's how they view the destruction, looting, and carnage that destroys lives and results in deaths. This is Andy Ngo, who not 3 or 4 pages before had like a pornographic description of himself getting milkshakes in the face. Like straight up fucking fanfic. Like just like reveling just in every like bruise. Amazing. Right. So in Minneapolis, an alleged looter was shot dead by a pawn shop owner whose business suffered serious damages. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Let me reread that. By a pawn shop owner whose business suffered serious damage during the riots. That's damaged, serious damaged. Andy, again, my editing services are available to you. My DMs are open. I would be happy to copy edit your next book. Please call me. I would do a better job.
Oh my God, like my brain auto corrects it.
Right, yeah, like I almost read it right, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to like take his words out of context. I don't want to misquote the man. He was very clear.
You're right. It's really important that we just let Andy's work.
Absolutely. No, I would never. Yeah. Yeah, no, you know what?
He's let our work be our work.
That's right.
On his page so many times.
And we need to return the favor. That's what we need to do. Yeah.
And he did suffer a traumatic milkshake.
It is very, very sad. Oh my God, I just got a super chat. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate you. You are a great fan. I'm so honored that you're here. Thank you very much, Brandon Farley. I know we said we weren't going to acknowledge him, but if he wants to super chat me, I'll absolutely acknowledge him all day. I'm not going to pin his tweet, but like I will acknowledge that he exists. He is a simp. The best kind. Please continue to give me money. I know it turns you on. 2 months later, a charred body was discovered in the ashes of another business that was burned down during the riots. There's no citation for that, so we can't look into what the fuck he's talking about there. I suppose we could look into that. It seems I don't know if anyone wants to look that up and see what the charred body in the riot destruction. Which, by the way, why are we again talking about Minneapolis like after he's moved on to other places? I don't understand why we like doubled back. Like I understand that being in the last section, but not in this one. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, I'm sorry, Wed. I am doing the worst job with content warning for you, and I really apologize. I'm grateful for you, Wed. Oh my God, amazing. All right, I think it's just oh no, there's some property related something in here, so be careful. In Oakland, an officer with the Federal Protective Service was killed while protecting federal property. No citation. Dave Patrick Underwood, 53, died, and a second officer was injured in a drive-by shooting. No citation. Stephen Carrillo, who is Hispanic, was later charged in the shootings. He is accused of being part of the Boogaloo movement, a fringe anti-government movement wrongly described as far-right by the military. In fact, Boogaloo followers have much in common with Antifa in that they seek to accelerate mass anti-government violence.
Don't blame us for boogs.
Right? Come on. First of all, both of us have way better fashion sense. Just throwing it out there, obviously. Black bloc style is better. Sorry?
I've never donned Hawaiian.
No, I never should. I never would, and I never should. Yeah, everything is, Lynn Halliday, if you would like to DM it, that would be fantastic. Thank you very, very much. But I will tell you a little bit about some of those other ones. Let me go over to my research page, which I have because I actually, oh, no, I don't actually have these. He doesn't focus on them enough. But as I recall, when I was doing research for this, the drive-by shootings were very far away from the protests in question. Normally, I would just check his citation to find out, but there isn't one, so we'll never know, I guess. He could have cited something, but he chose not to.
Weird.
Yeah, bizarre. All right, so in St. Louis, Missouri, David Dorn, a 77-year-old retired police captain, was killed by looters. In Davenport, Iowa, Italia Marie Kelly, 22, was shot in the back and killed after leaving a protest. Her younger sister recorded an emotional Facebook video blaming protesters for the violence. "A protester shot my sister, a protester," she cried. "You are so mad at the police that you are hurting everyone else." There's a citation for that. That is a real quote. Also, oh, sorry, hold on a second. I'm bad at life. Stand by because I have a I have a thing for this, actually. We can all look at what this was. This is the woman who was murdered by Antifa. And by Antifa, I mean her best friend, who had known her for years and had a somewhat troubled relationship with her, and which Andy just decides to not talk about. So yeah, very cool. Very good journalism. Excellent. Hate that. After 14 days of riots, there were at least 19 dead. We do have a citation for that. Let's go to it. Oh, sorry. It's because he doesn't have any links, he just puts the author and the title. He doesn't even put where it's from, which makes it maximally difficult to find. I'm going to find it. Any thoughts on this very professional journalism we got going on here?
Well, I'm just incredibly moved, and I think I might switch sides.
He is being very, very persuasive right now, I have to say.
Well, I mean if this was your first exposure.
Sorry, let's say it one more time. I'm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm talking over you. I'm so good at this. I'm very professional.
If this were your first exposure and you were like old and you didn't understand what this was about, you know, maybe this could be convincing. But
yeah,
for the most
part, maybe so.
This is all just, you know, this is like reading a bunch of clickbait headlines over and over and over again.
It really is. That's exactly what it is. He's just cited all the clickbait and then he's ignoring things. Like, for example, what his article actually says, which I've got pulled up on the screen. 14 days of protest, 19 dead by Jemima McAvoy. So we've got somebody shot near Minneapolis Police Department's 3rd Precinct 2 days after Floyd's death in what is believed to be the first killing since the protest began. That does not really tell us much about what happened there. Harrell was shot May 29th. His family said it was not protesting, not clear whether his death was connected to the protests. There was a drive-by shooting in California, something that never happened before the George Floyd protests. There was a bar fight in Omaha. Again, nothing that has ever happened before the George Floyd protests.
Like
somebody
was things being counted, like bar fights.
Bar fights, just anyone that died in the 14 days after the protests began is counted as a casualty of the protest, obviously. For example, someone who was run over by a FedEx truck while at a protest, which is clearly protest-related violence, that's Antifa's fault somehow.
Yeah, and Andy's total count is 30. I love your targeted ads. Mine look the same, and it's because of what we do.
Yeah, isn't it great? It's fantastic. I forgot you all can see that. Yes, absolutely love this for me. I just buy a lot of American flag stuff for some reason. No one knows why.
What do you know? What are you gonna do?
So yeah, basically, if you scroll through this, first of all, you'll get a good idea of where to buy your Patriot chudware, and secondly, you'll see that the people who were killed were either killed at a protest by someone not at the protest, or just killed like in a city where a protest happened. And I personally don't find that very compelling, but I don't provide kill lists for Adam often, so I don't know what Andy Ngo finds compelling. I can't even relate.
Yeah, well, I think what do you find? Somehow people like him arrived at the total number of 30 killed by our riots.
Yeah, which is really an astounding number, and not backed up by facts, but facts don't care about Andy's feelings. So very cool. I would like to address a very serious comment from Ben Tupper for the whiskey to red wine transition. I will tell you why. It is because I drank so much whiskey the first night that I made some really bad decisions. And so I am trying to get my life under control by mainlining red wine instead of whiskey in hopes that I will make slightly less bad decisions in the future. So I do agree Whiskey is the drink of rebellion, yeah. And Claudio is drinking some extremely alcoholic, non-alcoholic juice over there, I believe.
Yeah. Blazer aid, according to Zoophans. So.
You can't sit with us. I'm sure Bad Decision Laura will come back soon, Space Jesus. I have absolutely no doubt. She's never gone for long.
Bad Decision Laura is the only one that has to live with her agents.
Sorry, I saw a comment. Apparently, Brandon Farley's reading my thesis, which I'm very honored. I'm really proud of that thesis. If anyone wants to tune in, it's a really good thesis. Like seriously, it's amazing. Don't tune in. Don't give him the views. But I'm really excited that it's getting some time. You know. Anyway, I apologize. I just saw that and was like overwhelmed.
God.
Anyway, so I will say that my thesis is better than this book, and you should probably go read it. But if you want to stick with us, we're going to keep reading about lies that Andy Ngo likes to tell. The scale of destruction to neighborhoods in Minneapolis and other cities after each night of rioting is truly difficult to overstate. Oh, but he's going to try.
He's going to try.
He's going to do his best. Buckle in. Videos recorded the morning after show scenes reminiscent of Syria or Yemen. Andy, I'm going to talk to you directly for a second. My last name, Jadid, is Syrian. I'm Syrian. There aren't a lot of other Jadids around. Do you know why? You know why you don't hear that name very often? You know why I'm one of the only Jadids around, Andy? It's because they're dead, Andy. They're dead in the Syrian war. So fuck you. Let's continue. It's okay. We can all laugh. It's funny that Andy is bad at what he does. It's funny that Andy thinks that like the mass death of Syria is even remotely relatable to fucking Minneapolis. Like, fuck you.
Also, just like the amount of shit that he gives Alyssa for being Syria.
Yeah.
And now he's gonna like use the image of Syria here as like the bar for how bad things can be. Is just like, no, I don't think he's gonna do that. Oh.
Now the audacity. Harry Potter and the audacity of this bitch. Like
maybe even Syrian dog whistles.
See, that's how you use dog whistles, you know? Yeah, in a sentence. Thank you.
What I
thought. Incredible. All right, so carrying on. Also, I didn't even mention Yemen because I don't have personal connections to it, but that's even more egregious since like children are fucking dying over there. Like really now, like right now. Right now.
Just all
neat.
Real egregiously bad.
Just egregious, yeah. In Minneapolis, entire Wedteeler, we got a CW for property violence. I need to get like a property violence siren. I'll get one next time. In Minneapolis, entire buildings laid in waste on the ground, leaving behind burned out frames. But Antifa members salivated at these scenes of mayhem. By their own admission, they wanted the fires to continue. Andy, goodness, got spicy there for a second.
My seat, Wendy.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, now that we've recovered our composure a little bit, we'll continue. We are on the verge of a global revolution that can finally rid the world of police, along with the systems of anti-blackness and capitalism they uphold, tweeted the New York chapter of the Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement, RAM, on June 2nd, 2020. The group identifies as a revolutionary anarchist organization, quote, fighting for a stateless, anti-capitalist, and prison-free world. And there is a citation. Come on. Sorry, I just need to know. I need to know a citation for this. He just cites Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement NYC. So like, you got to figure out whether that's their Twitter or their website or like an article they wrote. It could be anything. Who knows? It's just some shit they said. Go check it out. I have no doubt it's true. I'm sure that they do want the abolition of anti-blackness and police.
It's not a big ask.
Yeah, no notes. I'm good with that. Let's do that. Let's make that happen. Are you for anti-blackness, Andy? Or is that are you taking a bold stand here? Like, I mean, I'll admit it's courageous. Yeah. All right.
For the freedom of Andy.
For the freedom of Andy. Free Andy. Hashtag free Andy. On September 4th, 2020, we are jumping ahead in time. We are jumping from May to September. They spearheaded a march through Lower Manhattan carrying a banner that read "Death to America." Content warning, they then smashed the windows of numerous properties and businesses. Those are two different things. By the way, property and business are not the same, which is what Marx would say too.
And don't think that it's about land versus buildings, because apparently they both have windows.
It's what we all bring us all together. Just the windows. That's why we have to protect them.
Because at first I was like, pastoral versus buildings, and I was like, nope, they both have windows.
Yeah, no, I got nothing. This is why the windows have to collectivize and rise up, against Antifa, I think.
If there's no windows, we're not going to be there.
No, exactly. Oh my God, new platform. We got to abolish all windows. Then we'll go home. That's it. That's all we want. Abolish all windows. Get rid of them. Yeah.
Just keep being racist and keep having prisons. Just
it's fine. We don't care. Windows we hate. That's what we really hate. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So both properties and businesses had some catastrophic losses. Like Antifa elsewhere, they were dressed in black bloc and used large umbrellas to shield one another while they were vandalizing property. Very menacing. Very terrifying. Within a short time, they did $100,000 in damages. That's cute. One of the 8 arrested at the riot was from Portland.
We're crossing state lines.
That's a terrorism. That's a crossing the lines kind of terrorism, I think, or something. By the way, if you were wondering the citation for that, there isn't one. You probably knew that. No, nothing. I got nothing. Yeah, but apparently one of the 8 was arrested was from Portland, and how dare they travel during a pandemic? So shame on you. Wet Tealer, Jesus Christ. We're gonna have to get Wed on the show. You're killing me, Wed. You're killing me. Though lesser known and without Antifa in the name, RAM is in fact an Antifa group. I'm so glad we're spending time on this one organization from the New York chat, New York. I'm glad that we're gonna really do a deep dive into the real problem with America here. It has even articulated its political agenda in 10 points, the clearest articulation of any Antifa organization. Claudio?
That's probably true.
Yeah, there's actually a citation for that. I want to know how he proves that. I mean, I believe it, but I want to know how he proves it.
Okay.
Oh, it's just it's Anarchist Worldwide, so-called USA Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement, 10 points of action. There's some capitalization weirdness in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's but yeah, the citation for it being the most clear description of anti-fascists rhetoric is a citation of the thing itself, which again, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, though. You're probably right. That seems correct. I'm willing to do it.
Fox right twice a day.
Right? Yeah, when he's right, he's right. We're not here to slander the man. We're here to be accurate. We have a request for a reading of the 10 points of action. Never let anyone say that I do not respond to somebody asking for the clearest enunciation of anti-fascist action that's ever been. Get it? Yes. All right. I have not seen these. I'm sure it's very scandalous. Let's go. Oh, that is a terrible website. No offense, y'all. I got nothing against Anarchist Worldwide, noblogs.org, but it's a bad website. 10 points of action. Liberation will be run by any means necessary. We will destroy the state, police, military, corporations, and all those who run the American plantation. That's pretty aggressive. We will live in dignity in a world without prisons. Systems of punishment will be abolished. There will be no law to enforce, no money to protect. Revolutionary justice will be determined by those who are oppressed. There will be no government. No person or groups will have power over another. Communities will make decisions about how they live and will make sure that everyone has what they need to live a dignified life. Land is not property. It is alive, communal, and must be protected. Alongside international comrades, we will destroy all borders for the free movement of people everywhere. Militant networks will defend our revolutionary communities. Liberation begins when America dies.
I mean, it's militant.
It certainly is militant. Yeah, that is some militant anarchy right there. That is some anarchy. And that is a whole other thing. Whether or not that makes sense is a whole other kind of argument, but it's not anti-fascist. That's not like the definition of Antifa.
No, there are definitely anti-fascists that are going to fall in line with that, but there are definitely anti-fascists that are not. Like, no communist is going to read that and be like, that falls in line with my beliefs 100% of the way. Like, that's not communism.
No, I mean, that doesn't fall in line with my beliefs 100% of the way, or even really quite a lot of that doesn't fall in line with my beliefs. But I definitely know people who do believe that, and I know people who don't. It would be for all you right-wingers out there watching. I know there are so many of you who love to watch this show, but it would be a little bit like if somebody took like the worst post on r/the Donald and was like, "This is all Trump voters." Like, it's some Trump voters. Yep, and you can't deny that it's some of them, but it's not all of them. Like, it's just not. Like, you're flattening a whole movement into just one thing, and it's dishonest and bad journalism. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, for any right watching, when you get close to coming a little too fast, just think about those 10, and it'll bring you back down.
Hot tips from Claudio. You heard it here first. I can. It's good advice. It's solid.
It'll just soften you up a little bit.
Yeah, just, you know what? For her, be a gentleman. Be a gentleman. Finish last. 10 points of action. Have them memorized. Commit them to memory and ponder them every day. This is the bottle from last time, by the way. I haven't drunk an entire bottle of wine. I mean, the night is young, but it's from last time, I promise.
Might as well drink whiskey.
Right? Honestly, at this point, what's the fucking difference? Next time. Maybe next time will be a whiskey night. This is fine.
So let's see how Andy down those goals.
Yeah. Let's see how it goes. Wait, sorry. Say that one more time. There's like a weird breakup on our stream, so although you can hear her, I can't always. Say it one more time. Let's
see how Andy breaks down those goals. I'm real curious.
Yes. Let's do that. Oh, he does. He quotes them all. I didn't even have to write it. Okay, here we go. Point 1: liberation will be won by any means necessary. By any means necessary is adopted by many extreme left-wing groups as a dog whistle. All right, drinking game, dog whistle. Drinking game, dog whistle. Go. Clearly, we have to do this. Okay. As a dog whistle to their members that violence is a necessary part of their agenda. Point 2, we will destroy the state, police, military, corporations, and all those who run. Wow, I'm good at this. Run the American plantation. It's fine. This is fine. I'm fine. Antifa and far left groups intentionally use words related to slavery to radicalize those sympathetic to their message. What? Like, I don't even have something clever for that. I just don't understand. Like, they're using rhetoric to persuade people. How dare they? I mean, just because Andy would know rhetoric because it hit him in the face.
Huh. I mean, it might just be because a lot of BIPOC are already kind of down with our message that.
Yeah, and it might be because it's a metaphor that they feel is that. Yeah, like
if you work with a lot of indigenous people, they're going to kind of talk about being shit on for a long time and being colonized. It's not because we're taking the language with them. It's because it's coming out of their mouths and it's their experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not appropriating it.
No, it is interesting. That's a really good point. There's an assumption here that this is white people making all the words. There's just, yeah, he's just assuming that, like, because that's his worldview.
Yeah.
Not the case. Yeah.
Like, because he puts spin on everything he does, he's assuming that we put spin on everything that we do.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of projection going on here. Really quite a lot. Let's see. Okay. I'm sorry. It continued. I cut off too early because I was astounded by the lack of the moon logic on display here. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, Brandon. Let's see here. Brandon, if you stick around till the end, I'll address all your questions. I promise. Thank you. Wow, I got so distracted by money. I'm just a capitalist hoe after all. They believe that Americans, particularly non-whites, are still enslaved because of work, capitalism, and the criminal justice system. It's a hell of it's a big pairing. Big pairing. But yeah, the criminal justice system does enslave people. Read the new Jim Crow, Andy. I know you don't read, but you could theoretically read it.
You could read it with that little.
Yes.
Can't you just picture it?
I can. It's a nice image.
Little copy of new Jim.
It's just a nice vision. It's a nice imagining.
It is. It is nice. Things are nice.
Yeah. All right. Wow. We're running out of time. We're over time because I'm being really easily distracted. And that's on me. I'm going to read very quickly the rest of this paragraph. Points 3 through 9 dictate they will abolish free markets, property ownership, the rule of law, and national borders. But the most chilling part is the final step. Militant networks will defend our revolutionary communities. Liberation begins where America dies. I mean, if you love America, that is pretty chilling. I'll give you that, I guess. I don't know.
I didn't see that one on there.
Yeah, I think it might have been on there. Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, that is on there. It's the last one. That's legit. Liberation begins where America dies. If you believe that America is an evil empire, then I guess that again, it's nice that we're spending so much time on this list of 10 points by some anarchists, which is fine, and I'm glad that you're gonna address the anarchists, Andy. But that's not. A lot of anti-fascists aren't that, and so it's pretty disingenuous to pretend that they are. Yeah. Before May 2020, I never thought Antifa could ever come close to achieving this goal. I am asked often in interviews, Andy Ngo, very humble, asked often in interviews, do you think Antifa will win? I always say no, if winning means their ultimate goal of abolishing America. The United States has the strongest military in the world, a robust rule of law, and a strong civil society. If Yemen is on one end of the failed state, the United States is on another. I got some notes. Andy. Yemen is not doing good because we keep giving Saudi Arabia bombs, Andy. It's a real problem. We should probably stop doing that. It's not like a coincidence that Yemen isn't doing great. It's not like they just didn't do well on their own. They've been bombed to shit for years with our bombs, Andy. Ours, we did that. Yeah. Let's move on. Oh God. And yet, as the riots broke out in late May, I began to wonder if I needed to reevaluate my position. For the first time in my life, I wish this major American metropolises struggle and failure with protecting the most basic rights of citizens, the right to life and property. Also liberty, but okay. Yeah. The right to life was doing great before these protests when all those black people were getting shot. It's doing real good.
I also just don't love men ever using right to life. Like,
honestly, I see your point. Yeah, especially men who are not for the rights.
I don't know if he means it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think he doesn't. He just wants people to have the right to not be murdered by Antifa. Which, good news, Andy.
We're not.
That's a right you have. Like already, it's good. We've had one death at the hands of an anti-fascist in the last 5 years, and it was probably self-defense. Like there's a case to be made, but like I wouldn't call it a murder exactly. All right.
There was a good opportunity to have a trial.
Yeah. Man, if only we'd had a trial. If only Derek Reinhold had gone to trial, we could have learned more about it. But instead, his right to life was ruthlessly removed by, I assume, Antifa, since they're the ones that do that. I assume Antifa are the ones that gunned him down with lethal force.
You're right. I bet a bunch of people in black with guns came out of there out of nowhere.
I've heard enough.
Didn't get a chance to surrender and shot him.
Yeah, I've heard enough. Yeah, terrible. Though these anti-fascist police, someone should really do something about them. If only there was an abolition movement. Let's see here. For days on end, those victimized by rioters never received help, even as they repeatedly called 911. Further events in Seattle, Portland, and elsewhere demonstrated the balkanization of geographic areas into no-go zone for police and outsiders. A lot to unpack there. This is why we're going slow, because every sentence is pregnant with like 16 lies.
I know, it's like your line for like, okay, I'm gonna interrupt. Your threshold.
It's got to be higher. It's got to be higher than it is. We're never going to get through this. God, sorry. This is a work in progress. Okay. Tell you what, I'm just going to read. Claudio, when you're ready, just interrupt and we'll go with it. All right. You've got to be my conscience here. Okay. All right. The riots in Minneapolis and other cities in May were also used to set a new precedent, a new normal for America. Anytime there is a police-involved shooting of a black person, no matter the circumstances, the response will be mass violence.
Isn't that appropriate, though?
I think maybe yes. It seems like possibly that it might be good to not.
The demand is really simple. Please stop killing black people. And then they don't stop killing black people. And then we're like, hey, that's already.
Yeah, we fucking told you guys you had a chance. We've talked about this. We're not going to go away.
All righty,
Continuing. On June 12th, 2020, Rayshard Brooks, a 27-year-old black man in Atlanta with a criminal history, would like to pause very briefly to note that we do not live in Judge Dredd world, and you do not just get murdered on the street for having a criminal history, because we have something called the rule of law, and law and order is very important to me. And if it's not important to you, Andy, well, then that's on you and not us. All right. With a criminal history, passed out drunk in the drive-thru lanes of a Wendy's restaurant. Who hasn't? Come on. Two responding officers from the Atlanta Police Department, APD,
this is a Wendy's.
Brosnan, woke Brooks and spoke cordially with him for about 40 minutes. When Brooks' blood alcohol level showed he was intoxicated on account of being passed out in a Wendy's, yes, the officers attempted to handcuff him. Brooks brawled with the officers and stole a taser from Rolf. Brooks fired the taser at the officer before he was shot. Brooks died at the hospital. The following day, Rolf was fired by APD and Brosnan was placed on leave, despite Brooks assaulting police, stealing a weapon, attempting an escape, and firing a taser at one of the officers. Rolf was charged with murder, 5 counts of aggravated assault, and other charges by the district attorney. Attorney. Brosnan was charged with aggravated assault. If Rolf is convicted, he may face the death penalty in Georgia. The likeliest of scenarios, a policeman getting executed for shooting a black man. That's what we really need to worry about here. By the way, if you were wondering about Rayshard Brooks, it's been a while. There's been a lot of black people murdered by cops in the last 6 months, so it's possible that people don't remember. I didn't, had to look it up. Rayshard Brooks did steal a taser, and he did fire 2 shots with the taser, and then he tried to run away. Now, tasers hold exactly 2 charges, so the weapon was no longer a weapon. It was a small brick-like object in his hand, and he was running, and they shot him in the back. So seems like he was a bit of an asshole. He probably shouldn't steal a taser. That's not good, but also not sure he should be murdered for it, would be my opinion.
Well, and the guy that shot up and bombed the health clinic today managed to go down without getting shot or anything. And he had multiple DUIs. He had multiple misdemeanors. He had a DV charge against him, and he also broke the restraining order that was placed on him by the person that pressed the DV charges. So
yeah, seems bad.
People
to
can
me.
be shitty. People can be shitty. but you still don't get to just kill them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And yeah, like we know it's possible to arrest people that are violent or acting in a violent manner without murdering them. It's people do it, yeah, all the time. Just today and probably yesterday, all the time. Yeah. Rolf will never face the death penalty in Georgia. I wish he would. You could quote me on that. Like clockwork, Brooks was made into the next BLM and Antifa martyr, even though he had an extensive criminal history that included domestic violence, theft, child cruelty, and more. Again, we do not live in Judge Dredd world. There is a citation for this. I dread to fucking click on it. Associated Press, Rayshard Brooks struggled in system but didn't hide his past. You can look it up if you want to on your own. The basic idea would be that he was no angel. That's what we need to all remember here, is that Rayshard Brooks wasn't a perfect person and therefore he deserved to be gunned down in the back for the crime of being drunk at a Wendy's, which everyone in this fucking chat has been. Everyone has been drunk at a Wendy's. I don't care who you are. I don't care. You have been drunk at a Wendy's before. You will be drunk at a Wendy's again. Don't drink and drive, but come on, like, it's happened before.
Yeah. And do the shitty other things that they were talking about. Don't beat your domestic partner. Don't hurt fucking kids. But that also does not mean that when police arrive, you just get shot, because bottom line, police don't just get to be killers.
Yeah, no, because that's not what the job is. Like, I would be fired if I didn't do, I mean, my job is ridiculous, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not part of the job description. Like, if you don't like it, don't be a cop. Which, don't be a cop. Don't do it. Yeah, Thomas Gardner, I do apologize. Eternity was me and not Andy. Don't actually hire me as a copy editor. Clearly, I'm not doing great. One day after the shooting, BLM rioters massed at the Wendy's where Brooks was killed. They burned down the restaurant and set fire to the cars in the area. For weeks, they shut down nearby streets using makeshift barriers. Some of the rioters patrolled their zone, armed with rifles. Second Amendment. I thought you liked that, Andy. Guess not. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms and the city tolerated the lawlessness in the name of racial justice. And tragically, as in the George Floyd riots, another innocent person was killed. This time it was a child. On July 4th, 2020, 8-year-old Zachariah Turner was shot and killed in a car that was attempting to turn around in the occupied protest area near the Wendy's. Julian Conley, a black male, is the suspect in the homicide. It's a weird inclusion of race there. Oh, sorry, I just cut you out, Claudia. Hold on, I'm bad at my job. Okay, we've got an article about Sequoia in here somewhere, which I'm going to find because this is important. So basically, the person that they arrested, the black man that Andy is attributing to the crime, says that he was armed, but was not involved, was protesting, witnessed it, did not fire. The truth is, no one's really gotten to the bottom of what the hell happened there. The car pulled up. They were asked to leave by a group of armed individuals that tried to turn around. Patterson says when the driver couldn't get through, he continued to go through the barricade and struck a person who had a rifle in his hand. So there was some aggression from the car, after which somebody inexcusably opened fire on the car. And we're not sure who did it. Once the person opened fire on the car, people thought he was shooting back. That's when 2 other 3 individuals started shooting at the car. This was a tragedy. This is a horrible thing to fucking contemplate or think about at all. It's not okay. It's not as simple as Andy would like us to believe. And it's not like because people think Black Lives Matter that this happened.
No, this is cop culture within protest movements. Yeah. And whenever something violent has happened, that is just like, yeah, that's because somebody fucked up. It's been somebody that has been like self-decided security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I condemn this like categorically, as I condemn the murder of Rayshard Brooks, who was also no threat to anybody. And the fact that Andy can only do one of those is telling, because it's the same idea, which is that you don't kill people unless they're posing a direct danger to you. Yep. Yeah. So that wasn't funny. Hopefully he says something really funny in a second, because this is fucking terrible.
Sorry.
No, I mean,
again, I promise.
an 8-year-old child died and we didn't laugh at it. We're monsters. By mid-August 2020, mass BLM and Antifa violence broke out yet again in the Midwest. Oh, here we go, guys. It's Kenosha. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, a former auto manufacturing center. Jacob Blake was shot by police after fighting with cops in a residential area. He had shrugged off being hit with a taser round and reached inside his vehicle where there was a knife. This was all caught on camera. Blake, who is black, had a warrant for his arrest by the Wisconsin Circuit Court for a felony sex crime and other charges relating to domestic abuse. Content warning for graphic descriptions of sexual assault here. Everyone good? All right. The criminal complaint from that May 2020 incident accuses Blake of raping a woman with his hand in front of her child. Yikes. According to police scanner audio on August 23rd, officers responded to the same woman's resident after she called 911 and said Blake was at her home again. Blake's criminal history also includes assaulting police, resisting arrest, carrying a firearm while intoxicated, and the use of a dangerous weapon. Even though he survived the shooting, the response was again mass carnage and looting in the streets of Kenosha. Democratic vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris later visited Blake and said she was proud of him. So Jacob Blake was shot in the back several times in front of his children. Would be another way to describe what Andy Ngo just described, actually.
Yeah, the video of it is not
horrible. Yeah, and again, like, we're trying to keep this light, but like Andy keeps bringing up really, really horrific shit, and so it's incumbent upon us to say that like Jacob Blake does seem like a bit of a dick. That sexual assault thing is disturbing. It is an accusation in America, Andy, and as a patriot, I love America. In America, land of my birth, land of my father's choice, we believe in trials before we decide someone is guilty of a thing. So like Jacob Blake was accused of a thing and he may well have been guilty of it, but he never got a trial. He just got shot in the back in front of his kids. So yeah, I got nothing.
We just don't shoot people like that. We just don't put cops in charge of just shooting people in the street. That's just not what they're for.
Yeah, that's not the job description. If it is, they should change it, maybe abolish it if that's actually the job description. Not okay. When rioting first broke out at the scene of Blake's shooting, rioters threw rocks and bricks at police, hitting one in the head and knocking him out. The city declared a state of emergency, but it did nothing to quell the violence. Rocks and bricks at the police, hitting one in the head and knocking him out. Just want to go ahead and mention our incident where a Fed shot a kid in the head with munition for holding a boombox. I bet you Andy isn't going to mention that in his book, but we'll see. Mass BLM Antifa rioters, pray on that. The sky.
Everyone is masked but cops.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pandemic and everyone is masked but cops. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, masked, not cops, set the Kenosha County Courthouse and nearby city dumpster trucks on fire. The sky was bright from flames and billowing smoke. Rioters then set a car lot on fire. That is not, those two sentences do not follow each other. Like, the sky was bright from flames and billowing smoke is beautiful. And then there's a car lot on fire? Like, fuck you. Fuck you. No.
Was it an entire car lot? I just saw a few individual cars.
That's what I remember also. But I mean, I don't know. Either way, like, you can't go from like a scene of raging inferno to like a car lot fire. Like, God, you're breaking my heart here. You had like an aesthetic moment. You just fucking ruined it, like, completely.
If I were writing a Kenosha scene, I would definitely be talking about the Elmo dancing among flames, because that was one of the best.
That's the real story, and nobody's talking about it. Yeah. God, I was
writing up about Kenosha and you're leaving out the Elmo dancing among the destruction.
That was. I know we're running over time, but we need to see it.
Of 2020.
I'm not gonna be able to find it. I'll post it separately. I'll post it in the thread where I talk about this video. It's amazing.
It's like a Getty image or something, because it's just like, well, that's not gonna get better.
No, I'm getting all kinds of just random shit. I can't find it, but I know the image you're talking about. Oh, we've got it. We've got it, everybody. Okay. There it is. That is, yeah. But that's not menacing enough. I wish he put that, like, he's got little pictures in his book, and really this should have been the picture. Damn.
If there is not something more emblematic about a riot than that, it is just like that there is shit going on around you that you're like, yeah, that's serious. But then there is also something around you that is just like, that is just real weird. Everything, I've only considered myself to be in a few what I would consider actual riots. And that picture right there is what a riot is.
I agree. Yeah. Like the just absolute like surreality of like what is happening around me. Like this isn't real life. Like I've walked down this street, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's just Elmo like having fun being on fire.
Yeah, it's a mixture of like just a mixture of just like things that could harm you and the surreal.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like stepping into a universe that's really quite a lot like ours, but also very different.
Yes.
Oh, incredible. Okay, so rioters, after the bright flames and billowing smoke, there was a small car lot fire. These flames spread next door to the Bradford Community Church, a Unitarian Universalist church that displayed Black Lives Matter on its signage. I don't know what point he's trying to make here. I don't know what to say about it.
Trying to say that it's not really about the message.
Of course, yeah, no, because fire is off message. The fire reveals the truth of anti-fascist goals, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah. Businesses were looted through the night, and numerous other buildings, including a museum, suffered damage. One shocking video clip recorded by independent journalist Drew Hernandez showed rioters armed on the street, stopping a sheriff's department armored personnel carrier. Multiple gunshots can then be heard. Seems cool. I don't know. It's weird that he doesn't like state what happened from that. There's a article.
Also, since Andy Ngo fucking independent journalist is.
Yeah,
Andy Ngo can't call me an independent journalist without calling me like an Antifa journalist or an Antifa videographer. He's been really specific about me, actually. He calls me an Antifa.
Yeah, no, he does have a lot to say about you.
Not that much. I've been really lucky. Just Antifa videographer, and that my epilepsy isn't real, which is really.
Congratulations on being cured, Claudio. I'm so happy for you. Oh my God.
So that's to the electrode goo in like special places on my body. But like, it's just really funny to just see him be like a journalist. Like, you can say that phrase about somebody. Just
yeah.
I didn't know.
I have to imagine Drew Hernandez is a monster. All right, this is important because you're absolutely right. That is weird. He never uses that. So Lives Matter official. Lives Matter is on Patreon. It's creating independent visual media. Shame on him for having a Patreon. Only grifters do that. It doesn't, oh, here we go. BG on the scene talking about him here. He's host of the Lives Matter show. I don't know what that is, but it sure sounds, I mean, lives matter, but which lives though? It seems weird that you're not specifying. I don't know what to do about it. Move past it. Other videos showed rioters picking up large chunks of concrete from the group to smash businesses and building windows. The following day, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers, a Democrat, called in the National Guard. A county curfew went into immediate effect, but even that wasn't enough. By nightfall, rioters, Antifa, Black Bloc militants carrying umbrellas and shields gathered near the courthouse and began attacking police with projectiles and firework explosives. Wed Taylor, I should have CW'd that for you. I'm sorry. The rioters, after attacking police with projectiles, which is code for water bottles usually, and firework explosives, which is code for fireworks. Or eggs, also eggs. Sometimes eggs can be fireworks. It's, when you live in your imagination, anything is possible.
A projectile would definitely be egg.
Yes, definitely. Eggs, which are completely biodegradable and non-toxic and have never killed anybody except for by salmonella, and don't eat an egg that was thrown at you and you'll be fine. It's my advice
That's
from
why
you.
it's the Portland projectile of choice.
That's right.
Just so green.
It's environmentally friendly. Out here in Portland, we like to care for our environment by using eggs instead of water bottles. It's the way. Yeah. Brandon, hold your horses. Brandon Farley, if you're still here, and I hope you are, because Andy Ngo is about to shout out your friend Eliza Schaefer, but not you. Yeah. Rioters moved throughout the city, looting and smashing up a furniture store, a used car lot, and other businesses. As in Minneapolis, rioters burned down buildings after they were done robbing them. Not a thing that happened in Minneapolis. That Target was fine, actually. Among buildings torched to the ground were the Wisconsin Department of Corrections and the Danish Brotherhood Lodge. Elijah Schaefer, a conservative YouTube journalist who documents protests around the United States, says he instantly recognized Antifa in the Kenosha riots. This is getting good now. Oh, I'm so glad we're not talking about dead kids anymore.
Oh, man, even I have a hard time making dead kids funny. I am.
But it's okay. We made it through. And like now we're in this fucking comedy gold where Eliza Schaefer is about to explain how he instantly recognized Antifa, the presence of the anti-fascists at Kenosha. I'm sorry, Wed Taylor. I do keep letting you down. I do apologize. So here's what he has to say. Black bloc were present in significant numbers. They waved an Antifa flag and carried out shield formation tactics he witnessed in other cities, a thing that only Antifa has ever done. Quote, Black bloc was largely responsible for lighting the Wisconsin Department of... go ahead. Shit.
To be fair, conservative shield lines are bullshit.
You're not wrong. They do not know what they're doing. They do not. See August 22nd?
And it was just a mess.
Sad. As Donald Trump would say, just fucking sad. Just real sad. Black bloc was largely responsible for lighting the Wisconsin Department of Corrections building on fire, which is now rubble. They broke off the wood barrier on the back door, as well as started a fire near the front. That does not seem like the same thing as rubble. I'm gonna just real quick. I'm just gonna.
I think this one might be like the one legit building that did get burned to the ground.
Let's see.
Sorry, Wed. They get graphic.
Yeah, honestly, this is just a big trigger warning for Wed Peeler. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, you know what? It was burned to the ground.
Yeah, I think that this is the one example of like Antifa burned a building to the ground that we can be like, yeah, yeah, we did.
All right, well, I'll be goddamn. Stop clocks and all that. Good job, Andy. You're right. They burned it. They actually did create the rubble that you've been describing throughout this entire thing.
Yeah,
and I am sorry. It's true. A moment of silence for the rubble. Hernandez, one of the first journalists on the scenes of the Kenosha riot, says he also recognized Antifa. Quote, it was the same tactics as Portland, unquote. Antifa rioters dragged around stolen trash bins to start fires in the street. He says Antifa militants enticed Black youth to participate in violence by giving them supplies to start fires.
Talk back.
I got some shit to say. Would you like to go first, Claudio? I got some shit.
Do it. Go for it.
So this is pretty dehumanizing. I'm pretty sure Black youths can decide on their own whether they want to start fires. I'm pretty sure they don't need a white person to hand them a fucking match. I'm pretty sure you can get that at 7-Eleven. I'm pretty sure if you don't have enough money, you could shoplift it from 7-Eleven. Starting fires is easy, Andy. And by infantilizing Black people in this way, it's actually kind of hella racist, actually. Like, really not great. Don't love it. Yeah.
You know, a really cool thing about Black bloc, Laura?
Yeah.
You can't tell some fucking race in it.
That's true. Yeah. The only way you could really tell is if you just assumed everyone that you don't like is white. Or just everyone in Black bloc is white because it's convenient to your worldview. that could be one way that you do it if you just assume the race of whatever makes sense for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Very cool.
Well, I'm glad. Yeah. On the third night of rioting, it became deadly, which is an interesting way of saying things. A 17-year-old allegedly shot 3 people, killing 2. Allegedly seems unnecessary here because there's video of him doing it. Like, Kyle Rittenhouse definitely did fucking shoot people. I don't think anyone's like argued that, but I don't know.
I know. Especially given that, like, when, I don't know, he's phrasing it very like, we don't know this, and it's like, it's on video, bro.
Video, yeah. Like, it's not, and like no one's arguing. Like, the left isn't arguing it, the right isn't arguing. We all agree Kyle Rittenhouse shot some motherfuckers. Like, the argument comes later. Like, that's
exactly. It's about whether or not they deserve to be shot, not whether.
Yeah, that's the argument. Like, by the way, Kyle, wherever you've run off to, I don't know. I got nothing to say to you. Just where the fuck are you? Go home. Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, sorry. Footage recorded by Hernandez and others showed Kyle Rittenhouse, who was armed with a semi-automatic rifle, being chased and attacked by several men. Rittenhouse appears to have shot the first man chasing him outside an auto store, killing him instantly. An armed mob then chased the teen down the street. When he tripped and fell to the ground, several people charged at him, but were quickly shot in succession on the videos. Good passive voice there, Andy. He fell over. Oh, sorry. One masked man who was hitting him with a skateboard was shot in the chest. He fell over lifeless and was the second to die. This seems really petty in the middle of describing human beings dying, but if he fell over lifeless, you do not need to specify that he died. We got it. Another man armed with a pistol rushed towards the teen. Rittenhouse shot him in the upper arm, causing a huge chunk of flesh to be blown off. Police responded minutes later after the shooting was already over. The teen shooting suspect was arrested the next day and charged with first-degree intentional homicide.
Yeah, that was CJ's video with the arm. But yeah, he had to put down the camera and administer first aid.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
It's just very interesting, exactly, with the passive voice.
Yeah, the passive voice does a lot of work in this book.
Yeah, it's very different from the Antifa crimes where you're talking about like this person brutally did this, and it's just like
right,
no, and they died, and it's like no, he caused them to die.
Yeah, like you wanna go into the details, Andy? Yeah, like the passive voice is selective.
What's also interesting to me is that he's pointing out how skillful the shots were.
Yeah, it's dark. Like, this is the man who was just decrying riot porn and then described a huge chunk of flesh being blown off of someone's arm. Like, that happened. We all saw the video, but like, wow, he just needed to like really specify
him instantly. And, you know, just like all of these things that it's just like, you're kind of talking about how they were good shots and it's weird.
Yeah, it's certainly, yep. And like, I think, so ThoughtSlime, my favorite YouTuber, did he's up there. Him and Ian Danskin are my favorite YouTubers, but ThoughtSlime did a really great video about Kyle Rittenhouse, where he really kind of broke down that, like, yeah, in a court of law, like, it's possible Kyle Rittenhouse could get off with self-defense, like the way things went down, the way the videos looked. But like, the fact is Rittenhouse took his rifle and traveled to the city with the express purpose of standing up against anti-fascists. Like, that's why he was there. He was there to stand up against Black Lives Matter and or anti-fascists, whatever he thought in his head. He went looking for this thing to happen, and it fucking happened to him. And now he had to kill people, and he gets to live with that for the rest of his life. And I don't know. I actually feel a little bad for the guy. Like, he's young, and maybe I shouldn't. Like, but God, can you imagine being a murderer at 17? Like, he listened to some bad shit on the internet, and now he's killed people. Like, and he gets to live with that forever. I don't know. It seems fucked. I hate it.
Yeah. Gonna be a lot to live with, and I think it's gonna be a lot of pressure for him to be some kind of darling for the far right and like these really gross expectations, and it's not going to allow him to grow into any kind of ethical human being.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Michael Elliott points out he was an aspiring cop. He does seem to have been an asshole. Brandon Farley earlier in a super chat asked me to talk about my far right past, and this is why I have sympathy for Kyle Rittenhouse, because at 17, I was a real asshole, and I'm real glad I didn't kill anybody. I wasn't a Kyle Rittenhouse brand asshole, but like, tomato, tomato. And it really sucks that we live in a world where 17-year-olds can make these kinds of decisions and just fuck themselves for life. I hope Rittenhouse can be okay someday. Maybe I'm just talking to myself in the past. It's fine. Sorry, getting dark again. It's fine.
Everything's fine and great.
It's great. Okay, let's continue reading. Okay. Before our eyes, Antifa and BLM Antifa. Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. Let's back up a second. Before our eyes, Antifa and BLM dash Antifa. So there's two types of Antifa now. And I don't understand. I don't know what to do with this information.
Maybe it's just like people only became Antifa as a part of BLM.
Yeah, maybe that's it. It's like a gateway drug. Like first you think Black Lives Matter, and then suddenly you're calling for the destruction of the United States. Like, I mean, who hasn't been there, right? Like in the Wendy's, drunk, being like, I think Black Lives Matter, and also we must destroy America. Like, just hashtag relatable. Before our eyes, Antifa and BLM Antifa were burning city after city. People died needlessly. Livelihoods were destroyed overnight. Those who said these organizations could never achieve their goals in any significant way, myself included at one point, underestimated the speed at which Antifa can work. With the momentum building, extremists began traveling to different cities. Okay, let's find out about the radicalized. One of them was Matthew Banta, a confirmed Antifa militant connected to the Fox Valley Antifa group of northeastern Wisconsin. Using several monikers such as Commander Red, Banta posted masked photos of himself engaging in Antifa activities in Wisconsin. He does not specify what these Antifa activities are, nor does he have a citation. In the photos, he wears patches that have the insignia of Antifa's two flags. He does have a citation for that, though. He's got a picture citation. Let's see what we got here. The citation, and I'm going to quote this citation because it's very important. This is the entirety of what we've got to go on. Matthew Banta, common. Hey, you patriot fash, ... I have no idea what to do with this information. Anyway, there's your citation for Matthew Banta. Hope that helped. In early August 2020, Banta was part of a group of Antifa who marched in Waupaca, Wisconsin. There, he allegedly aimed his loaded semi-automatic rifle at an officer before brawling with him and causing injuries. Photographs of Banta's arrest show he was wearing an Antifa patch. He was quickly released on a $10,000 cash bond for the felony charges. By the end of the month, Banta was in Green Bay, Wisconsin at another violent BLM Antifa protest. You'll see what he's doing with the words here. Protesters said he brought a flamethrower, military-grade smoke grenades, fireworks, and Antifa propaganda to the downtown protest, which was declared an unlawful assembly. I have so much things to say about this. Excuse me.
Okay.
We're breaking out the backup wine here.
Okay. So we all know what happens when you bring a gun to a protest, that just like they're going to come and cause problems with the people that bring semi-automatic rifles. Like the first thing that happens when an unlawful is declared is that the people with semi-automatics or whatever, they go home because it's just not a good idea. I don't know what happened during that altercation, but it very well could have been that he was just smart mouthing a cop while holding a semi-automatic, which which is legal. That's legal. By constitutionally speaking, the First and Second Amendment have those things covered, both of them. Absolutely. But you could still very much end up getting arrested for it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No Antifa K yet, territory, tragically. That was the group that BLM Ribs believes is ruining America, and I'm sure it's coming. Fucking love this. Yes. Sometimes. So I have some notes. Oh, go ahead. Thrower. I'd love to see what they consider a flamethrower.
Yeah. And this is what I'd like to talk about real quick. As somebody who likes words a lot, I want to pick apart this sentence real quick. So we're going to go with the order. So technically, usually when you do an order of a sentence that's supposed to be shocking, you want to start with the least shocking thing and then get to the most shocking thing. So let's look at the order of things that Andy finds shocking. A flamethrower. That's pretty bad. A military, okay, yeah. A military grade smoke grenade.
Pretty shocking.
Fireworks.
Meh.
And Antifa propaganda. This list is out of order. This is an out of order list. It's not okay.
Yeah. Especially because like Antifa propaganda to him is like how to smash windows.
Right. Yeah. It's like a zine. It's like that zine. It's like kill the cop in your head, Like
it is Windows pamphlet. Or why in defense of smashing cameras or in defense of smashing windows or whatever.
It's something like that. It's something like that. Real dark stuff here.
I bet you $1 million if you click that, it is going to be one of those two.
Yeah. No, he actually does have a link here. Let's see what it is. It just says that he was accused of bringing smoke grenades. It's very sad. Real quick, we can look into it, but I just want to say something else. This man brought a fucking flamethrower, right? Like allegedly brought a flamethrower to a protest, which was declared an unlawful assembly. Anyone who has been to a protest in Portland knows why that's funny. Because they declare a riot for like water bottles, and this motherfucker, I'm just envisioning him with a flamethrower in downtown Wisconsin, and they're just like, yeah, this seems problematic. Let's go in lawful assembly. Like, this is fine. Like, slightly dangerous.
Well, and I love that he apparently has like an AR, and then like he has like a flamethrower strap behind his back.
Yeah. What is this motherfucker? Like, he's like some like anime dude, like from like the big sword animes I pretend that I don't completely love and watch all the time, where he's got like 1 million weapons and they're all too big for him. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Done, by the way. Like, I know we're at a minute and a half, like an hour and a half, and we have like 2 more paragraphs to go. So thank you everyone for your time. Brandon Farley, I will never refund you. I will use your money to buy whiskey. I'm not donating that shit. I'm going to drink all of it. Keep it coming. Sorry, I know that makes me a bad person, but I'm thirsty. And he's donating so much money. I'll donate some of it. Anyway, Banta was with a group of people. Oh, sorry?
And nobody is obligated to give up their Brandon Farley simp money.
Thank you, right? I mean, look, if you want to simp for me, I feel like that. I feel like I've earned that money. I feel like I've just by having him in this feed, I feel like I've earned it. And like now I'm saying his name, which makes him hard. So you're welcome. And I'm not like the people that you usually harass because I don't give a fuck about you. So I hope that didn't seem catty. What I mean is that you can't hurt me. Like, you don't bother me. So that's all I'm saying. Banta was with a group of people who were armed with bats, which I really wish I'd read before I talked about the flamethrower, because apparently he was standing there with an AR, a flamethrower, smoke launcher, fireworks, and a bat also. Somehow.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is like, I don't know if anyone else has seen Blade of the Immortal, but that's some Blade of the Immortal shit. Like, just saying. Very obscure reference, you're welcome. He was charged with obstructing an officer and 2 felony counts of bail jumping. Within less than 48 hours, he was bailed out again. Yeah, that's how bail money works. Yeah.
I'm sure he did obstruct an officer just because he was so bulky.
I'm sure he did. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. It's true. He's a hazard. This man is blocking the fire escape. Arrest him. Oh, amazing. Antifa, I do need to interrupt to clarify that Brandon Farley has clarified that he's simping for Claudio. Claudio and I will be splitting this money. We will both buy whiskey with it or whatever Claudio likes to drink. Carrying on, Blake wasn't the only one who traveled around Wisconsin in response to the Jacob Blake shooting. Out of the 175 arrested in Kenosha after a week of deadly unrest, which mostly was deadly because like a 17-year-old with an AR shot people, 102 had addresses in other cities. Some of those people included extremists from the Pacific Northwest. So Kenosha's like a small city with a lot of other cities around it. Like, I feel like this is a little bit like if someone was like, a lot of the people arrested in Beaverton didn't have addresses in Beaverton. Like, a lot of the people arrested in Joliet, Illinois actually lived in Chicago. I don't know. Think of like a town, like somewhere near you with a bunch of subdivisions, and then someone was like, a lot of people in this one subdivision didn't live there. Like, fuck you. What the fuck are you doing?
Of course they didn't. It's not the hub.
Exactly. Like, it's Kenosha, dude. Like, it's gonna be fine. Some of those people included extremists from the Pacific Northwest. Riot Kitchen, a Seattle group that supplies food and provides food and supplies to rioters, drove a minivan, truck, and school bus to Kenosha, like criminals, bringing food to people, like a criminal might.
Fuck them.
They were arrested by local and federal police in their vehicle.
They were.
Yeah, and in their vehicle, officers found riot gear, illegal commercial grade fireworks, controlled substances, and full gasoline canisters. I have friends right now not involved in the protest scene where if you pulled them over, you'd find all of that shit minus the canisters in the back of their car any given day. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the gasoline canisters, they cook outside. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, because they're girls. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, like, how are you going to grill without some, some stuff? Yeah. And controlled substances, I don't know. Okay. So they were cool, is what you're telling me. They were cool.
But they were also stopped, like, an absurd, I assume weed, yes. They were also stopped just an absurd amount of times. While they traveled in between. Like, it was very clear that law enforcement was just like keeping an eye out the whole way. It was the same thing with the now defunct snack van.
I mean, they were noticeable. Policemen would notice them.
Exactly. It was just very clear that they knew that they were involved in the protest movement and they were going to give them a hard time the whole way.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. I know he's trying to like allege some kind of like large conspiracy, and really, if this is the best he can do, that like a group of people that provide snacks to protesters drove from one protest to another protest with like some pot and some propane. Like, I don't know, it's pretty weak sauce. I feel like they could do better.
Right.
Yeah. NyQuil is the one drug that I'm opposed to. If you're a NyQuil abuser, you're a bad person. It's a moral failing, and you need help. That's my. I said you heard it here first. I'm ableist against NyQuil abusers, and I'm not sorry.
Everybody that I know that is tripped out on NyQuil or Benadryl has had hallucinations about like spiders all over their body.
Same. It does not seem fun. Don't know. Like maybe if you like spiders, that's the thing for you. But like, I feel like possibly don't.
No, like in a bad way. There are a lot of things to have fun with in your like bathroom and your kitchen, but
whatever you want.
Not one of them.
Yep. Be a goddamn adult. Be a goddamn adult and get some real drugs. Or don't. Not doing drugs is also fine. You cannot do drugs, and I still think you're cool. It's fine. Either way, whatever makes you happy. We are actually almost done. I'm so sorry. I'm being worse than usual tonight because Claudio's awesome and I'm having so much fun. Riot Kitchen was one of the, we got a personal story. Riot Kitchen was one of the pop-up Antifa mutual aid groups I encountered when I was in Seattle in June 2020. In the largest city in the Pacific Northwest, militant Antifa networks actually created their own separatist revolutionary commune in a 6-block zone close to downtown. Far-left activists occupied an area where they said America ceased to exist. The Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, or CHAZ, had its own declared territorial borders and private militia on guard. And that's where we end. That's the end of the chapter. The next chapter, I assume, will be about the Stalinist hellscape that was downtown Seattle for a month. I will find out next time on Thursday, where I will do this again on Thursday. God help us all. Yeah.
So exciting.
So exciting. There are some pictures of this.
And then stopped.
Yeah, wait, say that one more time. Again, it's you. They can hear you. I can't for some reason.
I said Andy got me all horned up there at the end, and then he stopped.
I know, right? It was like, tell me more about Chaz. Like, this Chaz guy sounds hot. And then no, you get nothing. You all have to fucking wait. Lynn Halliday asked if I'll have a guest Thursday too. I'm not sure yet. I am asking a couple of people. It might just be me. I might go back to the basics, but there will definitely be guests throughout this. Like, there will be guests, and like, Claudia, if you want to come back on, obviously do that. It'll be fun.
Can't do this alone the entire time. It's too awful.
It's kind of dark. It gets dark alone. I drink more when I'm alone than when I'm with people. Maybe whiskey is just for guests. Maybe wine is alone drinking time. I don't know.
Bad for your liver and bad for your
It's
brain.
not good. This job is not good for me. You're all driving me to an early grave. I blame all of you for this. You've all done this to me. Oh man. So I did tell Brandon Farley that I would address his questions at the end. So I will go through and keep my word. Well, I can't go all the way back because it only goes back so far. We had a question about me addressing my far-right childhood. I talk about it literally all the time on Twitter. Dear Brandon, please subscribe. I was raised as an objectivist, and then I joined the army because I thought the war in Iraq was awesome, and I wanted to be part of it so that I could bring freedom and democracy to the beautiful people of the Middle East. And then I went to war in Afghanistan and realized that was some bullshit. So I've done that. Brandon Farley wanted me to stress that Donovan is not a real Farley. Donovan is the only real Farley. There have never been any other Farleys ever, only him. Brandon Farley has declared that this post is sponsored by the city of Portland. Thank you, city of Portland. Please stop gassing us. Brandon Farley has declared that Frostyfa would have refunded you. Yeah, I'm not Frostyfa, bitch. I keep the money. I don't know if you've met me, clearly not, but I keep the money I'm given. You can give me money for whatever reason you want to. One time I had somebody give me $1 on Venmo to call me, and trigger warning for people homophobic slur, a faggot. And they paid me $1 to do it. And if you want to pay me $1 to call me a faggot on Cashapp, you can do that too. And I encourage you to do it. And I think,
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. And then we've got actually something for Claudio, which good call. Claudio is simpable, and you should simp for her. So that's all we got.
I won't walk on you with kitten heels, but I will make fun of you.
Oh, come on, Claudio. Just a little bit as a treat. He's been so good.
No, he hasn't.
I don't know. You see, I'm a big softie, but Claudio holds it down. And I respect that. Somebody asked me if I thought about going on Vosh. Vosh, I don't know. I haven't thought about going on Vosh. If Vosh wants to fucking talk to me, I guess he can ask. I don't think I'm Voshable at this point in time.
I don't know what that is.
Isn't he like some kind of vaguely centrist dude? Oh, Brandon Farley just did $20. He simps for you, Claudio. Pretty hard, which like, dude, good call. I don't think it's going to work out between you, but like, she is pretty great. Yeah. Okay. So anyone who isn't Brandon Farley have something they want to talk about before we close out here? We've got some statements, Claudia. I hope it's all right for me to share this with people. I feel like that's correct. It seems to be unanimous. We've got mass agreement in the thread, and I gotta say, I'm gonna throw my hat in with that. Oh, Vosh is the lefty bread too. All right, well, tell him to give me a jingle jangle. DMs are open, baby. All right, so here's how this is gonna go. I'm gonna thank the patrons who made this thread possible, and then we're gonna end our live stream, and Claudio and I are gonna read some reviews of the book on Amazon, and we're gonna make that some patron-only content. So if you want to see that, I guess you have to subscribe to my Patreon, because I'm not a grifter. Andy knows the grifter. It's not me, it's him. No, I'm fine. Join my Patreon. It'll be fun. Anyway, I appreciate all of you for being here. I'm gonna read the Patreon thank yous. I truly appreciate all of you, more than I can even begin to say. I'd like to especially give a shout out to the Orange Chicken tier donations. It's all food based on Patreon because I like food a lot. Skippy, Dana Sullivan, Tina Kopolowski, Stephen Swan, Sandra Elliott, Shaved Ice, and Michael Mataluni, thank you. Big shout out to the Shower Beer tier, which is Ominous Legend, Christine M. Hedges, Chaz, Holly Jones, Brian Covey, Alexandria Schneider, Polly, Nathan Zilka, Josh Vader, Sam Mattison, Benjamin Tupper, Dome, Caitlin Johnson. And to all the people who have bought me a delicious herbal tea, I would like to thank you, Elizabeth Brassa, Ray Ribbs, Marvelicious, Dave, Zeke, Heather Carpenter, and Julian. All of you are beautiful people. You are the beautiful voters of my heart, and I will never stop loving you. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely, lovely evening. See me and whoever Thursday at 6. It'll be great. We'll learn about Chaz. Good night.
Bye.